Hi, this is Ken Gidge, and this is The Art of Politics. As you know, we have a new co-host here who is Mr. O'Brien, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, right here from the state of New Hampshire. And so, hi, Bill. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Now, you have brought two guests, and they're two Republicans. Would you like to introduce them? By the way, tell your guests that they may say anything they want to.
Well, they're both good friends of mine, and I appreciate the fact that you decided to come back into the studio once I brought them in.
Oh,
we were able to talk you into staying.
Okay.
But there's Representative Baldasaro and Representative John Burt.
It's a pleasure. I hope I didn't scare you by coming here.
No, no, everyone else, little kids and dogs running around out here. By the way, this gentleman over here, you sit right behind me, and we have a nickname for you. It's called the Opera Singer.
Awesome.
Yeah, because the way you talk, you can't whisper. This man has a voice for, I don't know what. You probably got a great voice for radio.
Well, you know what it is? For all the veterans that are in Nashua, he's not used to a Marine with a voice of authority.
Oh,
That's
really?
probably what it is.
Oh, okay.
And like you, Al has that artistic sensibility about him. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, well, okay.
I whisper sweet things in his ear.
Something really artistic about him, right?
So the opera singer.
John, you hear me from where you're at, right?
Oh, yes, I do.
I ask him, don't vote for that tax. He don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why. Three Republicans here. Well, I guess what's been taking place is that you guys, because you're not the majority anymore, you're the minority, you sort of have been names called, or you guys have had rough times?
Well, we've all been here a few terms. John, this is your second term, although I know when I was talking to you several weeks back, I thought you'd been here a long time, because you've really developed pretty good expertise as a representative. But, one of the reasons I wanted you guys to come on, I think, is because you've experienced what I think a number of us have experienced, which is a political argument that isn't based on issues so much as it is on name-calling. At least that's my impression, and I wanted to ask you guys if, I guess starting with you, Al, whether you've had that experience.
I could write a book. I'm actually on my fourth term. And, I mean, I've gotten called foul, right, crazy, even, as a matter of fact, just recently, Democrat chair. I put out a tweet that we're doing some meeting and taxing, and the Democrat chair come back at me, call me wacko. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But when I say something, it's all over the country.
Okay. John, how about yourself?
Yeah, same thing. This term's not as bad. To be honest, I didn't think I was going to make it through the primary. I came in #1, so there must be, Goffstown must like me, luckily, and so I do pretty good up there. But they do. They hammer me in the paper all the time for my conservative views.
Right. I know when I've sat with political consultants, one of the things they always say to me is no name calling now. Stick to the issues. Yes. That's what connects with the voters and everything. And yet we seem to get a lot of name calling. And I think you both confirm it. You have any theories why? Why is that? Is it effective on the other side?
It's not effective, because what I look at is, I've been told by several of my good friends, as long as they spell your name right, that's what they're going to remember when they walk into.
Well, that's not actually true. You guys are thin-skinned. I mean, after all, you've had 2 years where the Democrats have been beat up. We couldn't do anything. You guys were just stuck in your ways, and now you're the minority, and now you...
When you say stuck in our ways, let me clarify something real quick here today.
All right. I knew we were going to get to this.
The word comes to... You always say, why don't we compromise? Why don't we compromise? How can I, as a Republican, compromise on a 15-cent tax? Do I say, Ken, that's a great idea. Let me get them 7... Why don't we go in the middle? I'll take 7 cents out of their pocket.
Why don't
How when we don't vote for taxes or fees?
Explain what you're talking about.
I'm talking about this big thing you all the time with these taxes and fees.
Well, no, you're talking about the gas tax.
I use the gas tax, but I can go on taxes.
No, let's say the gas tax.
Okay,
it's
15 cents gas tax.
Over a period of what time?
Over a period of 4 years.
Okay, so that's how much?
4 and 3.
Okay, 4, so it's 4 cents.
For 3 years and then 3 cents.
Okay.
Okay, let's wake up and smell the coffee. Big city like Nashua, this your city?
Yes.
They can't afford it. Wake up and smell the coffee. They got no money.
That's right.
The low-income people just like me, middle class. Why would I want to keep spending money? Tell the government stay out of our pocket.
That sounds...
How do you compromise on that?
Sounds so good. But you guys, for the last 2 years, have cut, and you all think, gee, that's good because the taxpayers are going to get more money back. But the problem is that a city like Nashua, by all the cutting that you have done, including the Republicans who are no longer here in Nashua, they got voted out, forgot where they're from. And so when you guys keep cutting, what happens is the city has to make up a great deal of it.
Let me push back on you, Ken. What exactly did you have to make up? You know, we hear this, and you talk about convenient things to say. Let me ask you, what did you have to pay for that you didn't, or wouldn't have had
Well,
to
our
pay for?
taxes have gone up.
Well, the taxes go up for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
They go up
local.
for inflation. They go up because local choices to spend more money, to hire more
Oh,
people.
there's no local choices to spend more money.
But tell me, what
School
because-
money's coming through?
What exactly?
Hospitals
I
that
hear
you guys have taken money from?
No, let's concentrate. You said we had to spend more money here in Nashua because of the budget you fellows passed. And I want to know exactly, because
Okay.
we had as a goal no downshifting. And by the way, we achieved that goal. Now,
What do you mean no downshift?
no downshifting at all.
How many pay
You mean it
raises
just
they
costs
give?
nothing by the cities by the cities here in the state of New Hampshire? It didn't cost anything for all the stuff
No,
that
there
you
was
guys
no
done up there?
downshifting. There was no downshifting to
No
the city.
money's coming in?
No downshifting whatsoever from what the budget had been before. We actually got to the point when we were putting together this $10.3 billion budget, we actually made a $3 million adjustment on pension costs, again, to make sure no downshifting would occur. So I know it's a convenient thing to say if you're a mayor of a city or if you're on a board of selectmen and you have to raise taxes to say, oh, those guys up in Concord, they
terrible.
downshifted.
I will-
But you know, I'm pushing back
Yeah,
here a bit. You
I will.
tell me
will
what exactly.
I will repay you as the show goes on.
How many
okay?
pay raises did they give in Nashua? I mean, think about it.
Well, that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
what direction we're heading in, and it makes a lot of sense, is that we're telling the municipalities, the cities and towns, if you hire somebody, you're going to have to pay their pension costs. Don't assume that you can hire someone as a police officer, a firefighter, and all things that we need to do, but the state is going to pay for part of it. Why should people in a small town up in Grafton County, Canaan, which doesn't have a full-time fire department, has all volunteers, why should they have to pay part of Nashua's pension costs? What we're saying is you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Excuse me. Nashua still is the #1 city in the state that contributes more to the treasury than even Manchester does. All right, so in a
As
sense,
city,
we can say...
As a city can, but cities don't pay taxes, people do.
Yeah, okay, so we are...
Don't confuse them, though.
So we are, oh, no. So we are sort of like the economic engine. Now, you say, point to something. All right, you guys cut out a great deal we'll use mental illness as an example. Some of the programs and monies that you've taken away from these things. Are you kidding me? And I'll give you one. You guys took $4.5 million away for 4 social workers. Social workers said, it cost you $441,000 to hire us. We make you $1.5 million by saving money.
If they made us money, they could go hang out a shingle and become private practitioners, because then we'd go hire them. They don't make us money,
But
Ken.
no, wait a minute.
They don't. They're
No, they
costs.
save us money. They save us money. $1.5 million from keeping people out of jail, keeping families together. And guess what?
It's illusory.
So you guys turn around and say, $441,000, we saved $4. No, you haven't. You've lost $1 million.
What we did,
So,
was live within our means, and we posited a discussion, the basis of a discussion to the people of New Hampshire. We said, if you know that this is what's coming in, and we did, we're within 1% in our revenue estimate, so we're pretty good in figuring out how much is coming in. We said, help us. When we went to Democrats, help us figure out the best way to spend that, because we only have this much money coming in. We made choices. And we said to the Democrats, if you want to put some taxes for it, have a discussion with the people of New Hampshire.
Okay, but-
and we decided not to raise taxes.
okay, maybe you guys can jump in on this. Now, hold on a second. You did get rid of $441,000, and the social workers did come up and say to us...
Actually, you're wrong, Ken. We didn't get rid of.
With doctors...
We didn't have it.
We didn't have to, because the Health and Human Services, first of all, came in with a budget of, I think it was $80 million more. Their budget, I think, was up, $38, $40 million up. They call it a cut because we didn't give them the full amount.
Yeah, it's called the Washington
That's right.
cut.
Yeah,
It's a cut
there
in the
you
rate
go.
of increase.
You guys call it a cut.
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on, you guys. All right,
Hey, I'm
okay.
not
In
even-
Concord,
no,
we cut
you're
budgets.
looking
In
at
Washington,
state.
they cut the rate of increase.
You look
For
at state.
social workers,
You-
that wasn't us. That was the commission that made that decision.
You guys just said to me, you wanted me to point at something, and I'm using these social workers
least
as an example.
don't stretch it.
And you're saying the state. No, I'm saying we're Hillsborough County. This is Nashville. This is what I'm talking about. You're in Hillsborough. You're in Hillsborough. You're in Hillsborough.
rocking it.
You both voted against $441,000. Mental illness at this particular point is what? Number one that we're talking about today? And you guys did what? You got rid of the social workers?
Well, first of all,
Suicides in
First of all,
right
you're,
around the state?
you're roaming
But
around.
have
in
they
your
increased
arguments.
any?
I hope so.
The,
I'm hoping I gotta get away with it a little.
But Ken,
the question I'd ask is, show me where we cost the taxpayers in Nashua more in the city budget. I haven't heard it yet. Now, you didn't like a cut in social workers. Some people didn't like a cut in UNH budget. Some people didn't like a cut when it came to children in need of services or developmentally disabled aid. Yes, there were cuts because we had an $800 million deficit, and we promised the people we wouldn't raise taxes, and that's the promise we kept, and we made choices. So yes, there were cuts, and whether that's the cut or others,
Was
we
it
made cuts.
was it a bad
What
choice?
tax would you have raised last
Okay,
time?
no, was it a bad choice to get rid of the social workers? Look at the suicides
We didn't
I-
make
I-
that
I-
raised
decision.
here.
We didn't make that decision on social workers. The commissioner made that decision.
No, I'm talking about Hillsborough County and Hillsborough
Right.
County Committee.
Was
All
it a
right?
bad
That's
decision?
just Nashua.
Let me ask you something. Was it a bad decision for you guys 4 years ago behind the scene and play with the budget and take the money from the homeless veterans social program there? And then to give it to
Homeless
the
veterans?
homeless veterans
Us?
here in
You
Nashua.
guys ran it for 2
Nashua.
years.
Nope. You were in charge. You took the money from here in Nashua, Harbor Homes. They had the social workers, everything at the homeless.
Beg your pardon?
Your mayor, your
How are
council,
you-
everything. They went
Our
behind
mayor
the
did
scenes.
this? She's a Republican.
No, but your council, everyone else went behind the scenes
And took money
money out of the budget, and they gave it to some mental health program here in Nashua.
This is something I wasn't aware
This-
of, Ken.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
shocked.
Yeah.
I'm just
Hey,
shocked.
Take
And I'm
a-
looking at John over there.
Call
Too is
Peter
shocked.
Kelleher, Harbor Homes, and ask me if I'm telling the truth. 4 years ago
Harbor
when they
Homes.
did the
Harbor
budget.
Homes in the city of Nashua is one of those, Marguerite's place is the other, is one of those places that everyone attempts to help. And what are you talking
But
about?
you stole the money from a mental health program here in-
Excuse me, if you go down,
Democrats
if you
did
go
that.
down on Temple Street here in Nashua, you will see a home housing for veterans, only for veterans.
You know why that's here? It ain't
Yeah.
because of Nashua. It's because your former mayor, I can't Street or whatever his name was,
Bernie Street.
in the HUD, who was a Army veteran, come together with Peter Kelleher to put the apartments in place here in Nashua and that building. Nashua, behind the scenes, worked with the Democrats, you all, a few years ago, and took the money from the social workers, the doctors, for the mental health program being done at Harbor Homes, and you gave that money to the grants to your mental health
Well,
here.
I'll tell you what. This is new to me. I'm
Call
not going to
Peter
say
Kelleher.
that this is not factual, but I would like to look more into it.
Look into
okay?
it and
I'll
tell
look
him.
more into
Call
it.
Peter. Want me to get Peter on my phone?
No,
I got his cell number.
He's got his cell.
Now,
He has
Bill.
a secretary.
What's that show that you get one call?
Bill,
I just want to make sure he's telling the whole truth
No,
and
we're
nothing
going,
but the truth.
yeah, we're going into a new dimension of the show.
you
here.
asked Ken which tax.
One that we shall not return to.
Ken knows for a Democrat he's all right.
Well, you asked Ken which tax would he raise.
Right.
Well, there wasn't any more taxes. They already raised over 101 of them, or
Yeah.
110.
It
There,
was
there
a-
wasn't
it was a
anything
whole
more to
Excuse
tax.
me, over a period of years.
those were
And which,
fees.
which,
wait a
which
minute.
sold all the roads in
Yeah.
Portsmouth from one agency to another.
Yeah, and then
so
we
could
robbed
declare
how much out of
revenue.
UNH?
Yeah.
We took a ton of money out
They
of
took $25 million out
much
of
for peace?
a building fund. This is what you guys
I
did.
beg your
You took
pardon?
$25
You
million
did.
out of
And
a
how much
building
did you
fund.
take out of
Well,
UNH
Not
last
at
year?
all.
Were
Not
you
at all.
sleeping in
You
the
just
chair?
took nothing out?
No, this is 25 million. Again,
Oh, we're gonna-
money that's not appropriate.
There'll be a fact check on this show.
No,
That's
I'm-
for sure.
25 million out of a building fund at UNH, and you said go bond it.
How much
You-
they
you
take out of
stole it.
peas? Wait, how much did they take from peas?
Let's not get into Republican owns half of it up there.
No, we,
How much money did you take out of peas there?
I didn't get a
$10
penny.
million
I am only
bond?
making $100 a year, just like you guys. Don't,
Yeah,
don't
okay.
look, don't
no,
look
we,
at me.
we couldn't say it if it wasn't true because we're on TV.
Yes. Is that like that commercial? If it's on the internet?
Yeah.
Sounds just like Republicans, I'm telling you.
But why did we lose the election? It wasn't because of our balanced budget. The New Hampshire people loved it. It was because Mitt Romney was still
not the
using
good candidate.
clipboards,
Right.
and Barack Obama was using iPads.
They beat us in
That is what
technology.
did it.
Got the vote out.
Hold on a second. Let's get this straight once and for all. I'm glad you brought this up. You lost the election because you guys were not doing what you should have been doing, and that's thinking about who? The people who count. The soldiers,
Ken.
you know, the people with mental
Ken,
illness,
Ken, please, Ken.
the rich, and
He's not taking medication.
So you lost the election. So don't. If the
Not my co-host, please, Al.
No, Obama
my good
ran a
friend,
better
Ken Gidge.
I'm here for a normal
election.
conversation.
He brought a tremendous amount of Massachusetts people up here to vote for him. And I'm telling you,
politics is a blood
Yeah,
sport.
we just passed a bill in the House yesterday in which we are not only allowing, we're inviting out-of-state residents to come up to New Hampshire,
What are you
vote.
talking
Well, they already
about?
do that.
Vote.
Yeah,
Do you want to know what went on in his district? Here in Nashua, Dee Hogan's daughter, an Army veteran, served 2 tours in the war, goes at 0800 to vote. Somebody already voted for her. That girl had a fight at the polls to get her vote. So that meant somebody went there and showed an ID that was Dee Hogan's daughter.
Oh, but
That's
please,
what I'm
please,
saying.
Al,
But
please,
we don't have fraud.
Please work with us on this because you know voter fraud is
No,
a
no,
fiction.
no.
There's
It
no
didn't
voter
happen.
fraud
But that's-
anywhere.
hey,
Please,
do you
please.
want me
You
to
know
get
what the
that
line
on the
is.
phone?
Big voter fraud.
You want me to get
No,
one?
no.
But I'm saying that's
Al,
your town.
are you
Nashua,
bringing
what went
facts
on?
to this argument
Yeah.
here? Because you
Call
know it's
Representative
racism.
Dee Hogan.
I asked you guys not to hold back, so don't hold back. You know, when you start, hey, hold on a second. One of the aspects of it is, individuals, you guys wanted people to have a car registered, a registration, so people could go in with a, let's say, a New Hampshire license, register to vote.
That's not true. That's not true.
Well, it
I was
wasn't
on
a
the
Democrat who
subcommittee.
brought that in.
I was on the subcommittee. That's not true. Let's say you have colleges here in Nashua, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, you got students there that have cars, right?
Yes,
They
we do.
come here and pay out-of-state tuition. Now, I was on the subcommittee on that affidavit.
Okay.
What that says is if you're paying taxes in New York, your mom's taking the tax credit in New York, but you're going to school in New Hampshire, you want to vote in New Hampshire versus absentee, and you say, I'm a resident of New Hampshire, then you're sticking it to the taxpayers in Nashua because you're not registering your car. Nashua should get that money. The law for anyone
give
else
me
says
a
60
break.
days. You have to register your car.
Break. If you can show as a college individual who's been here for a period of time, 6 months or whatever it does, and non-residents, you can vote and should vote. And you guys want to know
Should
why?
they get out-of-state tuition, or should they pay in-state?
Why do you have to be a
You know,
resident?
the colleges are just precious. They really are.
I mean, let's be
the
serious. Be
administrators of
honest
the college
here.
are very tight when it comes to residency, when it comes to getting in-state tuition. They don't want to give that away. Everybody, if you start off, you have to, as an out-of-state resident, you remain that for 4 years, or as long as you are. But when it comes to voting, because they know that those kids will go in and vote for more spending.
That's right.
They want to
Oh,
be
I
very.
see.
They want to
So
be
are you
very-
saying college students are not?
We're saying
They're all
no.
liberal, not a
I'm saying-
Republican?
I will,
No, I'm
yes.
saying
There's
that
a
Don't
few.
say that. He won't.
There's 10%
I'm saying
may could
that
be.
people
Yeah, I'll
who
say
vote
more.
in New Hampshire ought to be residents of New Hampshire. They ought to be signed up to all of the, not only privileges, but all the responsibilities of being New Hampshire residents. And that includes, just as Representative Baldasaro was talking about.
Wait a second, you guys. If I remember correctly, one of the reasons why your party lost was because probably, mostly, is the exact issue what we're talking about. You guys have made an attempt to get people not to vote because they were
that's not
students.
true. No, that's not
Oh,
true.
because they were
That's not
students.
silly.
Come
Oh,
on,
so
Ken.
so you're saying that
Ken, what are you
students
drinking?
Yes, whatever it is, I want some of yours. He's hyper. I don't know what's in
just
that.
No, that had nothing to do with it.
Oh, it had nothing to do with it?
No,
It
because
had
the
nothing to do
majority
with it.
of New Hampshire supported our balanced budget. They said, thank you.
That's right.
Calls and emails I received, they all said, thank you.
And you lost.
Because
the
Obama
presidency.
had iPads and we were using clipboards. It's the
Okay.
technology,
But you didn't-
and he outsmarted us. That was the bottom line.
Get back to that affidavit. You did not need to have a license. All you had to do was had an ID card. But the bottom
An
line
ID
is,
card, what do you
we
mean?
put-
Just a regular ID card from where?
Regular ID card.
From
There was
New
a certain
Hampshire?
list
No,
that
no,
we put
no,
on
you
there.
could, the ID
The
could be
school,
for
the
anywhere.
school,
As a matter
yeah.
of fact, you don't even need an ID. You
There's
can
an
come
affidavit.
in without being able to prove your citizenship except your own affidavit.
Then-
Without being able to prove your
Have
residency.
you ever read the
except
affidavit?
for your own affidavit.
Have you
Without
ever-
being able to prove your identity, anything, citizenship, residency, identity, you can walk in, anyone can walk
right.
in and vote.
And-
All we're saying is, there's a form there saying, well, now that you've come to New Hampshire to be a resident, be aware, you should register your car.
You have
here.
60
That was
days by
big-
our
that was-
law.
You
that was-
should register, or you have to register your
You
car.
have-
You have to.
You have to because you're a resident.
If you maintain for the next 60 days your residency, and we assume because you want to tell us who our elected officials
Well-
will be, that you're going to
And
do
Bill,
that.
I got a real good one.
If
That-
you-
that you have to
I got a
register your car. What-
perfect one. Texas and many other states, didn't they get overturned by the federal government for being unconstitutional?
Well, they were challenged. by that.
Challenged,
Yeah.
and they lost. Oh, ours didn't lose.
Right.
We,
No, it's fine.
He's got a
that's
point
right.
there, Ken.
So Obama said the way we changed the law was okay, even though he didn't like it.
Yeah,
was
under the Voting
constitutional.
Rights Act.
Right.
Yes.
It went through Department of Justice pre-review before
And
it
they
comes
okayed
into
it.
Right.
to effect. And the Department of Justice challenged, I think it was Texas, Georgia, there was another jurisdiction.
And I know
saying,
Texas,
Oh,
they-
you're trying to keep people from voting.
Yep.
But even the Obama administration didn't agree with our good friend
Yeah.
Ken here.
You know, I think he's like Pelosi.
That's right.
Hey, Ken, aren't you like
Oh,
Pelosi?
okay, no, wait, no,
Remember-
wait. That's how you guys got in the
you're-
first time, is you attacked
First
Pelosi.
time.
You attacked, no.
We were here for 100
So-
years.
No, excuse me, when this gentleman became the speaker, you talked about Pelosi, you talked about Reid, and you never even talked about New Hampshire, and you guys got in.
I just
Well,
said,
what are you
Joe,
gonna
do?
Well,
14?
no, actually, we talked
Can you
about
let
the
me tell
over
you why?
100 tax and
Pelosi.
fee
The
increases.
reason why
that's what I
John
did.
Boehner.
Pelosi even
is
said
a
in her own
sweetheart.
lips that she voted for the health care bill, and we'll read it after. I bet you never even read the affidavit form, the bill, the law. I bet you never even read it. You're talking about it and never even read it. Tell me what it says in the paragraph
I
of
don't
line
know.
3. Did you read the bill?
No, I didn't have
That's what
to.
I thought.
You want to know
That's what
why I
thought.
didn't have
You're
to?
going on
Because
hearsay.
all the other Republicans were telling me exactly what it was, and it couldn't have
Here
been
we
true
go
because they
again.
were
On
Republicans.
hearsay. I said on both subcommittees.
And I love it, how you guys now are sort of out of power, and
Well, you must love that.
yeah.
But the Republicans are there still in the Senate.
You know,
to stop you.
We have a problem here. You say, I should love it? Here's my co-host, right? All right? No, he's not my show. It's not his show. It's our show.
Right.
Democrats hate me for that. I can't win.
Well, why don't you join our
That's how we
side?
started off talking here,
Yeah.
because to us, and this is a theme that I know you want to pursue, and I certainly want to, is we talk policy issues. What does the statute
Correct.
mean? How does that law work? And yet, from the other side, we hear, oh, you're an anarchist. Oh, you're the devil.
Oh,
you're a
you're a bully,
bully.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and I,
homophobe,
you know,
yeah.
Representative Baldasaro and I used to have a standing joke that every time he came into my office when I was speaker, I used to say, you know, Representative Baldasaro, haven't you resigned?
Yeah.
Because, you know, he would just
many,
say
emails
some
you get?
uncomfortable truths, and they would immediately say,
but
why
that's
don't you
the problem.
resign?
But
you know?
that's a good point. Why are you guys, if you're not doing something completely right and why are you picked on like this?
Because the Democrats don't like to hear the truth.
And
Because
the truth?
Because
And
of
the
Saul
truth on the
Alinsky's rule
legislation.
number 5.
Like, for
His
instance-
fifth
Saul
rule-
Alinsky.
Right, yeah.
His fifth rule is that you marginalize,
Yeah,
personalize,
that's right, yes.
marginalize,
Attack.
demonize. And you know, and you guys sit back, oh, Saul Alinsky.
You guys are
That's-
masters at it.
did
That's,
that
that's,
for
where,
2
that's where
years.
Hillary Clinton spent her time in Chicago working for the Alinsky operation. The president now is a community organizer in Chicago. You guys have not only internalized it, you've got to the point where it is who you are. And so that's
Yeah.
the argument.
We
And so-
didn't
and, you know,
start
beyond the fact
this.
that it's uncomfortable for 3 politicians who are constantly the subject of it, it's a disservice to our country. It really is.
But one
Oh,
thing
I
that-
love this. I
but
love
one
this.
thing
It's a
that-
service to our
we
country.
can't have discussions on issues like, should you spend more money than what you have? Should you raise
Oh, you mean
taxes?
this is the only show we can do that at?
Well,
Well,
I
that's-
don't
I
think
think
there's many
so.
shows. There isn't
No, I
much.
mean a Republican
See,
Democrat.
the difference
we do a
between
good
you
job.
and us,
Yeah.
the difference between you and us is you think you know better than spend people's money. We want people to spend their own money. Big difference.
And the
You
difference
want bigger
between
government.
you
We
and
want
us
smaller
is
government.
there's no you and us. It's us.
No, it can't
And
be us
you
when you want
guys
to keep
can't
taking money
take
out of their
that.
pockets.
You guys can't.
But you guys don't compromise.
You guys want to keep taking money out of
Give me an
people's
example.
pockets.
The gas tax.
The oil tax.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
let's
15-cent
I
gas
got
tax.
a
You
great
guys raised
idea.
the tax on home heating oil.
Yeah, home heating
Oh,
oil.
yeah, I know. How do
It's
you do
shocking
that?
to us.
And you're for the little people.
People want, yeah, you're supposed to be for little people. And we're sitting there going, my Lord, this is increasing the tax
These people,
25%?
It's-
Do they love
It's-
other
it's-
people's money
I
that
have a
much?
question to ask you. Now, we increased it. Was it decreased at one time?
All I
you
know
never
is we're
decreased
sitting
it.
Did
there.
you guys decrease
All I-
it?
No,
all I
we
know is
left it the way it was because
Yeah, we
you,
didn't touch that.
you put a revenue source in and then you spent it. How can we do that? We got to find money from somewhere else. You'll be crying we took it from your kindergarten next
Yeah,
time.
let's
Took it
understand.
from my
It's a-
kindergarten.
It's a dedicated
This
fund.
is
that-
getting really.
Well, but I do got to give credit where credit's due for President Obama in Chicago. I mean, they have the toughest gun laws, and it's worked well for
that's
them.
right. It worked well for them. Yeah. There's more
Yeah, I
murders
love
in
that, yeah.
Chicago than there is in
Look at Representative
Afghanistan.
Gidge over going, that's right, that's right.
Do you know there's more, do you know there's more killings in Chicago than there is in Afghanistan?
Oh, I know.
How come? They got strict gun laws.
Okay, I guess we've got around to guns. We'll get maybe gas and guns, and we'll shoot it out if we don't agree on it. I know a couple of us are carrying guns.
I am carrying. Yeah, I'm carrying.
Oh,
All right?
I could say
Don't
a lot
get
about
scared.
that little
Hey,
gun, but I
yeah.
won't.
Hey, Tim,
There we go.
I mean, Ken, don't get scared, all right? Don't
Oh,
get intimidated.
believe me.
Don't be going to speaker tomorrow and saying I
There's
intimidated.
only 3 of you. Do you understand? I'm not worried about it.
No, I mean, I really do think that we have to get to the point where we have
Right.
some sort of background check to buy gasoline because, it's
Yeah.
because it's really dangerous stuff. And
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is, you can hurt people with it, and it's not safe, really.
Okay, I love it. We're going to start on
Plus the-
guns, and you got
plus
right
the-
back to the gasoline tax. I love it. That's
plus
good.
the
That's
assault
good.
gasoline, that's
Yeah.
the worst kind.
You know, if it comes
That's
down
a high octane, the assault
Hey, Ken,
gasoline.
if it comes down to a young mother, single mother, that you have a lot here in Nashua, just like I have in my district, to buy formula or gas or carb to go to work, what does she do now? Because you're going to take more money out of her pocket with this gas tax. What are
Excuse
they-
me.
are you gonna-
Whose problem is the gas problem? It seems, now wait a minute, it seems in the last going on 5 or 6 years, there's been finding more oil in this country, and the numbers simply say that within 20 years we'll have found more
Right.
oil in this country than there is over in the oil producing countries.
But your president won't
did
let us
that?
drill it.
Your
And who
president, yeah.
complains that we are not doing enough?
Your
Let's-
president won't let us drill
Yeah,
it.
there you go. He
Call
stopped.
call him up.
This
The
is
Keystone.
private. This is private
Right. Well, let's
industry
bring him back to
saving
New
us.
Hampshire.
We've been talking about all this federal land that they won't let us drill on. The Obama
Well, you mean up-
administration is extending
You
the
mean
area.
up at the top of the...
No,
Right.
we can't drill in the Eastern Caribbean. We can't drill off the coast of the West Coast.
The Alaska
we can't drill in
and,
Alaska. We can't do any oil
Keystone.
shale
Can't
Can't drill in Alaska.
Keystone
in
pipe.
the northern slope.
Okay, all right,
we
yes,
can't,
that's
we,
right.
we can't drill, we can't do mining for oil shale. So all these available sources of oil, we can't do because we can't even bring in Canadian oil across
No,
the
wait a
country
minute,
to
wait,
refineries in Texas.
you-
All these restrictions, and then he has the audacity to stand up in the State of the Union address and say, oh, by the way, just same thing you're saying, that we're on the trend to being self-sufficient in oil. We're on that way because private industry, all these oil companies that are demonized. I heard them demonized in committee today by Representative Campbell from your city, how they earn too much money, and all these oil companies have invested and taken known reserves and are producing so much out of those reserves now that we're going to be
hold on.
energy independent.
In the Gulf of Mexico, if I remember correctly, it was the worst, oil spill in history, and I believe what we did is we stopped for a period of time.
Just in the U.S.
No, but
just
in
to
the
do-
Eastern Caribbean, but the Eastern, over near Florida,
Okay.
we can't drill
All
there.
right, okay. But didn't we just agree that very short period of time, we can show that we have more oil here in the United States than there will be? And where's that from?
Well, you know something, the bottom line is that's something down the road.
private
Can we go
companies.
back to
Private
New Hampshire?
companies improving technology.
You're right.
It'd be
Extraction.
better,
No,
it'd
no,
be better
no,
we keep the discussion back in New Hampshire, okay, on the spending, because I have to know, because my district, apparently not as wealthy as your district, You must have well-to-do people in Nashua because it's Nashua reps like yourself and Representative Campbell that are pushing this 15 cents gas tax. Am I missing something here?
Yeah,
And we're fighting for our
I
constituents.
think you are missing something.
Am I?
And no, I think you are.
Are your constituents wealthy?
No, I think you are missing something. Do you forget, or has it occurred to you, that New Hampshire is a state for tourism? Does that make any sense
But
to
we
you?
also have people that live
Excuse
here.
me. Does that make any sense to you?
100%.
Okay.
It does.
Do we need good roads and bridges?
We sure do.
And we have them.
So we bring people in, when we bring more money in, right?
Right.
Everything, what? Goes back to the taxpayers. You do not charge the taxpayers more. It's just that when we don't take care of our roads, we don't take care of our
fault is
bridges.
that?
And let me tell you something, 4 cents a gallon. Look, and I've said this to Bill before, raising gas taxes is like having a toothache. Who wants it? Nobody wants it.
Right.
But I want people to come to the state. 4 cents a gallon, I'm sorry. But guess what? I believe, my beliefs, quite simply, is that if we do what we're supposed to do with our roads, we'll bring more people in. And guess what? Our infrastructure just may bring more people in who bring businesses in here. Is it worth 4 cents a gallon?
Problem with your argument, it isn't 4 cents.
Hit him on the siphoning.
It's
Hit him on the siphoning.
it's 15 cents. It's $1 billion
That's right.
tax. Put aside the concern that some of us have that this red-listed bridge and road terminology is a marketing terminology. Because I look at my own district, the main bridge that is red-listed of the 3 that's there, is a bridge I travel over every day when I go up to Concord. I've kayaked under the bridge. I travel over the bridge. It's in fine shape. Put that aside.
So your bridge needs what? To be what?
It's not,
Shored up,
it's
painted?
It's not
what?
in compliance with federal regulations.
That's
yeah,
right.
it's not
So
in
it brings
compliance.
it to
But
red-listed.
it's a fine bridge. It's
Yes.
going to be there. And no one asked the question, and I tried to posit it to the committee today that was hearing the gas tax bill, the Ways and Means Committee. I asked him, does anybody ask him why bridges have been red-listed for 3 decades now? There's some bridges that are going into
Where's
their
the money
4th decade of being red-listed, and they haven't fallen down.
Have you seen bridges fixed?
Now, but put that aside. Let's assume that every red-listed bridge in the Department of Transportation's repertoire of red-listed bridges is just about to crash to the river.
Yeah, but does it have to do that before?
We have enough money.
Typical Democrat
we
scare
have enough
tactic.
money because what we're doing is siphoning money out of the highway fund, out of the funds that we already get from registration of motor vehicles and gas taxes. We're siphoning off $150 million every 2 years. If we didn't do that,
You were also part of that?
it's been going
No,
on
no,
for a
for
long
No,
time.
but you've also been part of it.
And
Now,
we're
what are
being
you
told
saying?
that-
We should
now we're
turn
being
it
told-
around and go back?
Now we're being told it's a crisis. And I hearken back to a debate that Ovid LaMontagne and Jean Shaheen had in October 1996. And they were asked the question then about this perennial issue of red-listed bridges and roads. And they say, what are you going to do? Both of them agreed, including Jean Shaheen, that if we just stop taking money out of the highway fund, then the problem will go away. Indeed, she said that we just did it wrong. She's trying to get elected now, of course. She said we just did it.
She should.
We just did it wrong. We changed the funding of
Do you
the
want a fact
highway
check on what he's
enforcement, the highway enforcement officers, and we're paying them out of the highway fund. We have to stop diverting. I've brought forward an amendment that I'd like to now identify for the listeners as the Jean Shaheen anti-diversion amendment.
Oh, please.
Jean Shaheen anti-diversion.
Time is
measure.
over. We'll see.
He had to do this because your new governor, Democrat, is looking to take more money out of the gas tax.
Jean is
Excuse
quite
me.
a
New
sport
budget.
to support us on this.
Excuse
Am I
me.
right? The governor's new budget
Well,
wants to take more money out of the
wait a
gas
minute.
tax.
They do. They want to go from the statutory 27%, which would like to
Yes.
make zero, to 33%.
Why?
He wants to.
But you're the one who went
But
to
you want to
27.
blame check.
It's
But
called.
But you did it.
It's
Now you
called
want to
pork.
turn it
No,
around?
no, you did it for
Okay,
4
where's
years
where's the other money going to
You
come
did
from?
it for 4
Let's
years
stop
when I
it
was
now.
there
Where's the
with
money
you
going to
guys.
come from?
Where the other money? It's if we don't fund the Department of Safety's state police
Budget.
out of the gas fund. If we stop lying to the people and say we need money for red listed bridges, and then send it to the state police.
Okay,
If we stop
so
this,
we
the money
fund the
is,
state police, which is 311. How do we fund them?
It's
the budget.
1.4% of her budget proposal. That's what it is. Governor Hussein's budget proposal, it's 1.4%. All we're saying is go into committee, go to the legislature, and make your argument, Department of Safety. I think having state police is very important. I'm willing to even assume the 311 state police officers are what we need. But we have to make that choice.
Well, where's the money coming from?
We have to make that
no,
choice.
I understand what you're saying, but now where's the
It's out of
300? Where's the money come
fund.
from?
Out of the general
Oh,
fund.
in the general fund?
And you have to make
And where does the
choices.
general fund come
How
from?
much money did you find in fraud and welfare? How much money did you find
Oh,
there?
we found quite a bit, around 10
You
or 15%.
guys have turned your back
yeah.
on this here.
Yeah, you guys-
You don't even want to touch this.
Hold on a
We-
second.
he
I
put-
think this has been
he
going
put
on for both
legislation
Republicans and Democrats. Don't.
No, the gas tax,
You
you're
know.
right. But he filed the bill, okay, and did a study on the welfare, Medicare, and all that, and found out, what, 4-point-something million?
Oh, it was.
But you guys didn't want to touch it. Oh, no, nobody frauds on Medicare.
We found
No.
that 10% of food stamp recipients
Right.
in New Hampshire.
So what did you guys do about
We
it?
passed a law that we had to pass over the veto of your governor.
Okay, so you passed it, so now
And
it's
so now we
saved?
have a Governor Hussein and a recalcitrant bureaucracy
Your governor- that's right, she
that,
did
that
veto that,
don't
huh?
want
Oh,
to
yeah.
let out the
Yeah.
contract we told them to let out with a
Well, who's the guy with the Cadillac?
the West guy, some fellow that
Guy with a Cadillac.
Yeah, I mean,
How did we get
you
into
can't
this?
make you can't make this stuff up.
No.
They actually went on and did a test run against Medicaid recipients. They found somebody who had just registered a Cadillac Escalade. You know,
Yeah.
a new one.
But see,
Wow.
you guys don't want
I
to hear
can't,
that
because you and I
stuff.
only get the $100.
Because they vote Democrat.
I mean, I've
You don't
been
wanna hear
losing
that.
money. I lost about 20% of my income as a result of this election. I'm back down to $100.
Now he's gotta go to work now.
And so I can't afford a Cadillac
Yeah.
Escalade.
You lost, what, 50, 25?
$50 over the 2 years.
How
Now
do you
there's-
feed your family?
It's
There's
tough.
two big
20% loss
things
of
that
income.
I disagree with this gas tax. For one, I went to a convenience store and talked to this lady named Tina. And a lot of people in my town like Tina now because they feel what she's feeling. She's saying, I can't afford this. But the other thing that disturbs me about this bill is your friend, and for some reason, I don't think I'm going to get
David
a
Campbell
his
is
name.
my
From
friend.
Nashua.
Yeah, I'm not
He
going to
is
get
my
a Christmas
friend,
card from him.
And he's not here to defend himself.
Well, but
we're
this
gonna
is
pick
what I
on
want to
him.
He should be
say.
here to defend
He
himself.
should, because I've debated him on
I would come here and debate him with you on that.
with Josh McElvin there on MUR. But what I disagree with him is his misleading statements.
Which is?
The bridge, yeah.
Gift that keeps on
No,
did say it was
the
a good
bridge
He regrets
that
that.
goes, the railroad bridge that goes to the naval base. He said if that bridge fails, end of the naval base. It's untrue. I contacted myself and got information from Senator Ayotte, and she said you can transport.
Senator Ayotte?
But this is from the feds. You can transport nuclear waste any means that you see necessary as long as
Well,
it's packed
hold on a
right.
second. Wait,
And,
so-
but Campbell is
Is
trying
it
to scare
bridge,
the people.
The bridge goes where, and does it block anything else if it's out of
But
commission?
there's two entrances,
No, the
first of all.
question is, does it
Gordon.
block anything else if it's out of commission? Does this bridge that doesn't go there, does it stop ships from coming in and out of a harbor
Oil
or
ships.
something like
You
that?
know what? Run the pipe down the road a little bit
Oh,
more.
okay. Now wait a minute. So now let's put the nuclear waste aside. Now what you're saying is we'll have tankers out in our harbors waiting to bring oil in, but all we have to do is run a line. We don't need the bridge. Is that
know,
what
I
you're
was
saying?
thinking-
Ken, I think all we're saying here is
Right.
bridges and roads have to be repaired. The bridge over Portsmouth that got stuck on the down or the up, whatever it was.
I think we all agree
It
that's
need-
got to get
it
done no
need-
matter what the
it's gotta-
argument is.
It's got to
Yeah.
be done. It's going to
Yeah.
cost $80 million. A good portion of that, by
Yeah,
the way,
yeah.
is going to come from the federal
Federal.
government under federal highway fund.
Yep.
We have to do it. We're just saying, don't tell us we need an 83% gas tax increase, that we have to pay $1 billion more. Don't tell Tina that.
And
when it's
don't-
not necessary. You know,
Yeah,
guys,
it's-
did you feel as
it's a blank
uncomfortable
check.
as I felt and kind of amazed when we're sitting last Wednesday when this bill was passed for the first time and sent on to the Ways and Means Committee, when you heard Democratic representatives get up and say it's just chump change.
That's right.
You know, and I know that there's this public perception out there that Republicans are fat cats and Democrats are the party of the people. And yet, a Democratic representative after representative got up and basically said, oh, they won't miss it. It's chump change. To Tina, $3 or $4 a fill up is not chump change.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. It's amazing how you can pick out one person who makes a stupid statement.
I don't think
And I think we all here can find something really dumb that we've said also. That's stupid, Democrat, Republican. Whoever said that, that's dumb.
Well, I think the three of us, but Representative Baldasaro.
No.
Oh, he's...
You know, pennies, nickels, and dimes add up to dollars. Because not only does the gas go up, the eggs, the milk, everything, the trucking businesses, everything goes up.
It's not $1 billion. It's not 15
It
cents.
is $1 billion.
4 cents year.
They can't have it both ways because they're saying, with this tax, we'll now have $1 billion to put to the 10-year highway plan. And so they want it to be there for spending, but they don't want it to be there for
Okay, how do we?
taxing.
No, okay.
It's $1 billion.
Let's take 75% of the bridges that you say are fine.
I don't know whether they're fine. I'm willing to accept.
Okay, let us take 75% of the roads are just fine. Now we have 25. How do we pay for those?
But stop diverting the funds.
And wasting the money.
But you did the same thing, and now you're saying not to do it?
By not wasting the money. You know where they're wasting $1 million? Woodsville, New Hampshire. That's where I moved from Vermont over to Woodsville. There's a bridge on Mill Street, and they're going to put a box culvert in there for $878,000. Bottom line, it'll end up being $1 million, because a lot of snowmobiles go through there. Well, they need this. If you drive a half a mile down, you don't even need a bridge. But they want to spend this money on this wooden plank bridge. And then, you know what was the best thing?
And the reason is?
Because they want to.
What's the reason? Anybody? Does it bring people in? Does it bring
there's 10 people. This is the
downstate?
bridge to nowheres. It services 10 people, and you can go a half a mile around and end up in the same.
Well, that's silly. If it only serves 10 people.
But how many?
It'd be easy to hire a helicopter for 10 years to bring them
Don't
over.
suggest it can. Come on.
But that's how many
That's going to be
bridges we
somebody's
have.
amendment because it'd just be chump change.
But you know what the
Oh,
best
here we
part
go.
of this is, Ken? You know what the best part is? When I was talking to the DOT guy, this is before he found out I was a state rep. He's blabbing away, and he goes, and you know what's really funny is we got to find out if we own this thing. We don't think we own this bridge. I said, but you're going to spend almost $1 million on a bridge you don't.
Well, they wouldn't. Hold on a second. What? No.
This is what DOT told me.
They agree they're going to do it, but believe me, before anybody spends any money, they'd find out who owns the bridge. Now that's only fair. Now I love how you go off to the side.
But that's what they're telling
10
me.
people. Come on now.
That's what
they
it
don't even know.
services.
I don't know, guys. I find Representative Gidge trusty just to be very,
I got to, I'm a true believer in trust but verify. Hey, Ken, I want to ask you something also.
This is wonderful. It's very nice.
Unemployment, what is it? What are we here in New Hampshire? 6 point something? What are we at
no,
now?
it's less than that, isn't it?
5.8? I don't even remember.
If I remember correctly, it was 4.9 until you guys got.
Well, what's the
It was up to 7%.
Yeah, it was 7, that's right.
How about the underemployment?
No,
Well, I tried to sneak it in, it
going
didn't
at,
work.
look at how many
Okay.
are on right now, EBT cards, welfare, that over the last few years. We're
Well,
taking
nationally, we've gone up to what, 47 million on
You
food
have
stamps,
more
and
in
we started at
Nashville, just like
26
Manchester, the big
before.
cities, and you want to take more money out of their
No,
pocket.
no, hold on. Let's talk about food stamps for a moment. Are you saying that the people, the majority, because we always know there's people who get away with it, it's the absolute minority. It's always the minority that causes the
I'm
trouble.
talking to people
All
that
right,
really
now you
need
guys
the
are the
help.
minority. Wait a minute. Okay.
Give me the question because you're playing a straight man. I can't wait for it.
I've been looking at him. I've been looking at him, and I'm just trying to. How am I going to get out of this one?
Well, we're really
wanna move
confusing,
on.
yeah.
No, the minority of the people who have food stamps might cheat the state.
I'm not talking
The
cheaters.
majority
I'm not talking that.
are really needed, at least for a short period of time.
That's
Are you
what-
saying that we should eliminate that?
No, I'm saying the people that are struggling, why would you want to put more tax on? The Department of Transportation has had these issues for 30 years. Maybe the legislature needs to take over and micromanage them and tell them what bridge
Oh,
to
God,
fix.
that's all we'd need.
Where's the money been for the last 20, 30 years on some of these bridges that have been repaired?
So I guess we would agree that it's been, 20, 30 years, so that's been more Republicans than Democrats running it.
But the bottom line is, the issue, the Democrats are the only ones that are throwing up the, the bridges, the sky's going to fall. Just like the kids in school. The Democrats, it's for the kids. but we give more money to education. There's more raises.
Look, the three of us have been here 4 terms. This is our 4th term.
Right.
I think you're in 4th term,
I'm
right?
third.
Third term. Okay, so 4
Listen to
terms,
us. We've been
second,
around.
2.
Yeah.
Let's stop it.
Yeah.
Let's engage in some honest budgeting.
That's right.
Don't we don't have to say they've been doing it for 30 or 40 years and it's a Democrat.
And pull numbers out of the
No,
sky.
no,
Let's put away our party
No.
affiliation and do the right thing for the
Right,
people.
right. Hold on a second. First of all, let
Look at the
us
means.
remember, okay, that last term you guys were the majority, and you guys all said you did what was absolutely right.
We lived
now
within our
you
means.
are the minority, so evidently somewhere along in your, in what you have said and how you've gone about it, the voters didn't see it that way. Now,
Well, no, that's not true. That's
well,
not true.
you didn't get in.
I think
You know why?
Representative Burt.
Look at-
Yeah, we got
Look,
outsmarted.
You've got 3 of the loudest reps up there, especially him and I have been on the extreme list for over and over. We still come out. I got over 7,000 votes in my district. Still come out number 1 in my district out of 14. You come out number 1 in your district?
I
It
came
wasn't-
out
so
number
it wasn't
2, but I had
always-
the whole day of my election day. I go up and down Route 13, from Mount Vernon, New Boston, back and forth. I did the trip 4 or 5 times
Right.
on election day. I passed a car that had a license plate that said AFL-CIO on
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
3 times.
But
oh,
I'm saying
wait a
is-
minute.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you mean you guys
unions
don't get along
targeted
with the
me.
unions?
No, I don't, because
Oh,
the
I
thing is
see.
that what they're doing to the cities and towns. If they want to raise every year. If it was my decision, if I was the governor, I'd put a freeze right across the board. Enough on
And you
spending.
came in first?
I come in first.
You know
for the
why
last
they
3
voted for you?
terms.
You scare them.
Yeah.
Knock on their door. No,
I'm in
don't
a large town just like you are.
Vote for you, Al.
There's almost 25,000 people in my town. I come out number 1. And,
Okay, you came out 1. What do you came
and
out?
you guys
one.
hate
One.
it that we're still here.
You came out 2,
2.
and I beat Campbell by 1.
And I'm 1 out of 14.
We'll do better against him this time because he has $1 billion.
How many votes
tax.
you
Oh,
get?
no.
How many votes you get in your district? 2,000?
Not many, yeah. Right around
I
there.
get almost 7,000.
Well,
What
I
does
know,
that tell
but that's your
you? I got more than
district.
Obama in my
I know,
district.
but that's your district. We're in just
But
one
what I'm
ward here in
trying
the
to
city of
tell you
Nashua.
is people understand what we were doing, and they brought us back to continue.
Look, they may love you, okay, and they like us because they voted us in.
You're
Okay,
a
let's
lovable
face
guy.
it.
Kim, I got to admit, he is a lovable guy. I pick on
Ken
him all
is?
the
Well,
time.
no, they
Now,
put
Ken,
us-
you really
Oh,
should
the
but
only thing
join.
that
you
drags him
guys,
along, I'm sure.
but you guys from a super majority
Yeah.
are now a minority. That's almost unheard of.
Okay.
What
Come
happened?
on, you went from a majority to
Yeah.
103.
How much
we
were
have
they?
like
Yeah.
179.
How much
What message was that?
103.
Oh, I know about the 103. I
How
was
much
one of
debt
them.
did
Yeah,
they leave
what
us
was that
when this is
message?
over?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
900
not
million?
fun.
It was about 900 million.
What'd you do? Leave us with almost 900 million,
You
right?
guys
Debt?
got out of Dodge.
Excuse me, but your party lost.
But the
You
bottom-
lost
we
people
lost because
from
we
a
didn't have the
supermajority.
right candidate at the top. And there was a ricochet effect through. Obama
Governor
won.
or
across the-
president?
It was across the board.
Across the board.
Across the board, we lost.
Every position above us lost.
What happened
Do you
over
know
in
all our
Lamont?
strong
I thought everybody liked him.
conservative- Do you know a lot of our strong
likable guy.
conservative
I don't
voices were
care.
reelected? Our loud voices were reelected back in there to look out for the people?
Okay, well, over Lamont, you it wasn't liked. What happened?
Well, the thing is, there was a ricochet effect there with Obama.
That's
I
right.
have to admit, Obama beat us in the technology.
Then let me give you, I think, what is an accurate answer there. He didn't have a good message. He didn't have any message. When you have somebody at the end running ads, still telling people how to pronounce their names,
Yeah.
that's a candidate
And
that
not
hasn't
telling the
connected
truth.
well. It probably doesn't have a message. He substantially underperformed. Did much worse than Mitt Romney, and Mitt Romney had a problem connecting with the voters.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
But he's still scared. He's still scared.
He's like
me.
Ann
Right.
McLean
He still
Custer.
scared
People
me.
understand with Ann McLean Custer, she's not like us. She
No,
she's-
she's someplace else.
Well, she basically has been a lobbyist. She is a person who didn't pay her taxes but likes to increase taxes. And then she comes up with this argument that, all of us have trouble financially. A lot of us do struggle financially, but we meet our obligations.
but-
and we don't
but
make up that we don't have money to pay taxes.
I love how you
And
say
we
that.
we don't get angry and swear at people in public.
That's right, and take their
and
phones.
take their phones. That's not the way we
Okay,
are.
hold on a second. This is what you're putting her down, but she won.
Right, she won.
She beat you guys.
Right.
And that's because of the Obama
Okay,
outsmarted
she
us.
beat
Ken,
you guys.
you know
So
There was
I'm
no
missing
message
I'm missing the
sent.
point.
I
No.
served 22 years in the Marine Corps. we lose some battles, but we end up coming back to win the war.
So what are you going to do in
The reason
14?
why you came in,
This
number
is the
one,
temp-
if you knocked on my door 5 times and asked for a vote, I'd give it to you.
You know something? I don't even
You'd
knock
scare
any
me.
doors. I don't knock on doors.
You don't. You
I
have someone
don't.
else?
Because I look at people in the eye and I tell them the truth. I tell them what the 15 cents gas will do. I tell them what they did with all these taxes and fees. The $30 surcharge, the LCC tax, the gas, the, what else am I missing?
The campground tax.
The campground tax.
I love that
You
one.
guys did tax everything but the kitchen sink.
They taxed the bare ground you lie on.
And
It's
by the
awful.
way, okay, by the way, that campground thing was really dumb
Yeah.
for anyone. That was poor.
What about
We
what you
get-
did to small businesses, LLC?
But hold on a second. What they're saying is we did all this stuff. Evidently, your message, which means we have about 5 more minutes, but your message didn't work.
No, the wave went
It-
out
no, it
because of
not only-
Obama.
Actually, if you look at the amount by which we lost the House,
Yes.
it's much less percentage.
7 votes in a
yeah,
lot
but
of districts.
it's much
7,
less
8.
percentage
Yeah.
than the ticket as a whole was losing in our districts. Given the fact that we have multiple districts, do you know that more votes were cast for Republican state representative candidates than Democrats? It was a number of them were in districts, however, where they were essentially overvoted.
Didn't
So
you
it-
guys?
Yeah.
Didn't you guys change the districts? Or was
No,
it,
I can tell you right now, there's
You know,
about
this
4,000
this
or
idea that we
5,000.
had some sort of gerrymandering, when you put in play both the state constitutional requirements and the federal constitutional requirements, we were constrained. There's not much we could do. There's not much you can do.
Now, Ken, in
there wasn't-
2014
we weren't able to affect many races at all through selection of districts.
In 14, I'm going to endorse you, so you'll win. Because when the
You're going to endorse me, and I'm going to win.
yeah, so when
No,
the
you're
Democrats
I'm going to endorse him too.
yeah, because when the Democrats
Al's
lose
going to.
80, the Democrats are going to lose in
like
14.
Wait a minute.
80 to 95 seats, the Democrats are going to lose in 14. That's the big swing
With all
that's
the
coming back.
spending.
I want
I'll
you
bet you
to
your
win.
shoes.
Yep.
I'll
okay.
bet you your shoes.
I'll give
Okay.
him. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we're in a swing state. You know,
Yeah.
we're
Right,
swinging
yeah.
back and forth.
But I want you to sit up there
But
in
after the
Section
damage
5
they
all by
do,
yourself.
man. 2 years.
Excuse me. If you three want to get rid of a Democrat, all you got to do is endorse him. That means I'm in trouble. They all like him. Wait a minute.
We will take that advice into consideration.
No,
Well, then I am throwing my endorsement to Representative Campbell right now.
no,
Representative Campbell, I'm
Well,
endorsing him.
I
Make
am
sure you
glad
vote for him.
Nashua residents have deep pockets and they welcome that oil 1 cent tax on oil and that 15 cents gas tax.
You know, to
Hey,
my,
you must live in a wealthy
to my
state.
constituents and yours, it's not chump change.
Yeah,
but I
it's
guess
not.
in some
No,
districts
my
it is.
district can't.
I know,
They drive to
Goffstown,
Boston.
No, it's not.
And if you guys would have done what you should have done, which means invest in the state, more money would have come in. We
You
wouldn't
were in
have had to
charge
done
for
this.
4
but
years.
Government,
4 years.
we're coming to an end.
Government doesn't invest, it just taxes expenses.
But you know what I like about the senator that's always on WGIR? He says DOA. Every time they bring up the
Oh,
gas
yeah,
tax.
Senator Bradley.
Yes, he says dead on arrival. He says it won't last 3 seconds in the Senate.
Hey, before we call it a night, can you answer me a question? I don't know if you know. There's some bets going on where the Custer is going to step on New Hampshire's Second Amendment rights, whether she's going to vote with the Democrats against our gun rights. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I have not.
haven't heard?
No. And by the way, I'm one of the only Democrats who voted. You can look it up. Who voted
Right.
to
To
for
sup-
guns
right.
within the? In
I
the
watch
state
you vote.
outside.
I look over your shoulder.
I believe
look
that
over his shoulder.
because before I got there, and everyone got here,
Right.
people were carrying
Yeah.
guns there. There was
No,
no
I know
question
you
about
believe
that.
in the
We
Second
know that.
Amendment. Yeah, I know you do. But I was just wondering what Custer, because I know what Senator Ayotte stands.
Well, I'll
I
tell
know
you
she
what.
aims against.
I will stick up for her because she is a Democrat. and
Is she a
won.
Second
That
Amendment?
means she beat a Republican.
But will she vote to protect Second Amendment
Well,
rights? here
we
in New
will
Hampshire?
find out. But
Oh,
why
do
don't
we
you?
have a bet? I'll bet you a cold
Okay,
beer
we got, and
that
I
she
and I
doesn't.
got your shoes
Hey,
right.
yeah.
A cold beer that says she doesn't vote. She votes against our Second Amendment.
Okay, let's start with
What do
you.
you think, you gentlemen?
Yeah, no, wait.
Thanks, Bill.
Let's start with you. You have a website or a email address or?
Yes, I do. I have a website, burtnh.com, and that's BURTNH, like New Hampshire.com.
And mine's a very simple, albaldasaro.com, if you wanted to hear Tell it like it is.
And everybody agrees that he should be a singer.
Yeah, I have that voice of authority.
Before you,
Tell them how many times the Democrats come to you and complained about me, my intimidating them.
I'm trying to think of weeks that it didn't happen.
Where it didn't happen.
There might have been.
before you and I say goodbye, thank you, gentlemen. We do
Well,
appreciate
we
it.
enjoyed it.
Has this been fun?
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. I'm having
Yeah.
a good time here.
That's right. And I think
I
that,
hope you have, Ken.
Oh, of course I have. I know these people, and I hate them. I got guys out who'll beat them up. No, and I'll,
Union guys?
you know, and I'll tell you,
Must be.
and there should be more shows with the Republicans and the Democrats. I have no fear, like the two of us. There should be other shows around the state without fear of having two Republicans come in as a Democrat
still friends.
and having it the opposite way. I think what we're doing right here is doing what a lot of people should have done,
Yes.
disagreeing in front of other people, agreeing in front of other people, but you see more laughter and you see more fun.
Right.
And I've just got to tell you that I'm so happy with the way the show's going. I think we got something going here.
I think it's very interesting.
You're not going to
Yeah,
kiss him now,
and,
are you?
No,
I'm just checking. As a Democrat.
Here we go.
I just want to
we,
make
we can get into that legislation later on.
I don't.
He
We
was
could go
getting all
2 hours
touchy.
with
Ken,
it.
you were getting all touchy-feely, that's why.
Shut up. Website.
Well, my email address is williamlobrien@gmail, and I'm on Facebook, and we'll have a website soon.
I'm all over the place. I'm Gidge World. Go there. It's an art site. I'm on Facebook. Befriend me. Email address, which is kgidge@aol.com. Telephone number 603-864-9332. And I've said this before. It was easy before. All we gave is our name and our address. But today we give,
Right.
in a little while it might be Social Security. Again, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Ken, I enjoyed it.
Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See ya
guys.
next week.